Hey everyone, in this video we will understand how we can implement the SSTF disk scheduling algorithm with the help of C and C++ program. So before this, let me tell you that I have made a full playlist of the operating system. You can find that playlist on my YouTube channel. In that playlist, you can find the various topics of the operating system and you can find the various implementations of the program which you can find in the operating system like CPU scheduling algorithms, Banker's algorithm, and other disk scheduling algorithms and so on. So do watch them. And beside this, you can find the other computer science topic like C programming, lead code solutions, data structures, and the various interview questions related problems. Okay, so do watch them. So now let's start with our implementation of the SSTF disk scheduling algorithm. So in the previous video, I have already told you that how we can apply the SSTF algorithm on a given request queue. Okay, so SSTF algorithm, as the name suggests, it selects the cylinder or it selects the request which is actually closer to its current request or the current position of the read write head. Okay, so according to that, it will choose the disk IO request. So we saw this example where we were given the request queue, okay, which contains the various cylinders, and we were asked that what will be the total number of head movements and the average head movements. Okay, so we were given the initial position of the read write head, okay, as the input. So let's say we are at the 53rd cylinder. So we saw in the video that from the 53 we have to find the closest cylinder that is closer to this 53. Okay, so from 53 this 65 is at the minimum distance. Okay, so we saw from this that 65 is at the closest position. So from 53 the read write head will move to 65. Then from 65, so out of all these requests, we saw that 67 is closer to 65. Okay, so what we did from 65, we will find the difference of 98, then 65 minus 183, 65 minus this 37, okay, 65 minus 122, and so on. So with the help of this table, we find that 67 is at the closest position to 65. So we move to 67 from 65. Okay, and accordingly now our current position will become 67. So from 67 we have to decide that which IO request should be serviced, that is where should my read write head should move. Okay, so from 67 I should go to the closest cylinder, so I have to find the distance between the 67 and the various IO requests which are pending. Okay, so I will not find the difference between 67 and 53, right? Because 53 service has been completed. Okay, the same way 65 request has been completed, so I will find the difference between 67 and the other request other than 53 and 65. Okay, so this way I found that from 67 37 is at the closest cylinder. You can find the subtraction. Okay, 67 minus 98, then 67 minus 183. Okay, and accordingly you have to find the difference which is minimum, right? So we came to 37, then this will become the current position. Then we move to 14, then this will become the current position. Then from 14, we will see that 98 it as the closest position. We move from 14 to 98 and so on. Okay, so this way we completed all the IO request in this request queue using the SSTF algorithm. And we saw that total head movement will be this 236, right? So we have already discussed this example in our previous video, right? So for the better explanation, you can find the link of this video in the operating system playlist and you can watch this video. Okay, or you can find the link here also in the I button. Okay, so do watch this video before understanding this C and C++ program. Okay, so now let's go through the implementation of this SSTF algorithm. So our algorithm is very simple. We have to take the various input from the user, then we have to apply the SSTF algo, and then we have to print the desired output. So basically in the output, we will be printing the total head movement, okay, and the seek sequence and the average head movement. Okay, so what is the seek sequence? So basically seek sequence means that in what order your particular algorithm, or let's say here SSTF algorithm, will be completing or servicing the request. So first it selected the 53, right? 53. Then it selected 65, right, for its completion. Then SSTF algorithm selects the 67. Okay, then from 67 it moved to 37, right? So in this way, then from 37 to 14, then 98, then 122, then it moved to 124, and then it moved to 183. So this is your seek sequence, that in what order your requests are getting completed, right? So your read write head is moving to these particular cylinders in this way. Okay, so this total content will be the content of the seek sequence. This we have to print. Okay, so let me show you the code. Okay, so first I will run the code and then I will show you the demo that how my program output will look like. Okay, and then we will see the complete program. So this is a C program for the implementation of the SSTF disk scheduling algorithm. Okay, and we have also made the C++ program. Okay, and this is the C++ program implementation. Okay, so logic wise the code is same, only some of the data structures we have changed, like instead of array we have taken the vectors. Okay, so here also you can see we have taken the vectors, right? So I will tell you that what changes I have done in the C++ program later on. Okay, so first let's understand this code. Okay, and before understanding this code, let's run this program. Okay, so first it is asking that how many total number of cylinders are present in your hard disk. So let's say we have a hard disk which contain total 200 cylinders. Okay, so I will enter that my hard disk contain 200 cylinders from 0 to 199. Okay, then it will ask that, okay, please you tell me how many number of cylinders you want to enter in your request queue. Like how many number of cylinders, it can be like 3, 4 cylinders, 5 cylinders. Okay, so this is the like a total number of, or you can say count of numbers of cylinders you want to enter in request queue. So let's say I want to enter 8 cylinders request in the request queue. So I enter 8. Okay, and after that it is asking that enter the cylinder numbers, actual cylinder numbers in the request queue. Okay, so I will enter the cylinders that we have seen. Okay, so now I have entered the all the 8 cylinders. Okay, now here we have to take care that these cylinders can be same also. For example, you have entered 98, okay, as the first request. Now after 183, let's say you can enter 98 again, because the request for the same cylinder number can come at any time. Okay, so your cylinders can be all different, or there can be some similar or the same cylinders in the request queue. Okay, that is valid, that is a valid input. Okay, so now it is asking that what is the initial position of the read write head. Okay, so in our example we saw that 53 was the initial position of the read write head. Okay, my read write head is at the 53 cylinders. Okay, so this is the total input that I am entering in my program. Okay, now so this is the output of this program. So it is showing me seek sequence, total number of head movements, and average head movements. So seek sequence will be like from 53 it moved to 65, then 67, then 37, right? So at last it moved to 183. Okay, so basically this was my seek sequence, right? So basically this 53 will not be present because 53 is not present in my this request queue, right? So first will be like 65. Okay, then I move to 67, then 37. Okay, and so on. So this will be the content of the seek sequence. Okay, now total number of head movement were 236. That means 236 cylinders were traversed, and the average head movement will be 236 divided by total number of requests. Total number of requests are 8. So 236 divided by 8 is 229.50. Okay, I have printed the answer till 2 decimal places. Okay, so this is my input and this is my output. Okay, I hope you have understood the format of the input and output. Okay, so now let's proceed. So basically if we see the program, then we can see that first I have included all the header files, okay, which are actually needed for my program. Okay, and after that if you go to the main function, okay, here this is my main function, right? So here we have taken the input, right? So first we have asked what are the total number of cylinders in your hard disk. Okay, so let's say I entered there are 200 cylinders. Okay, so I have scanned that input using the total cylinders. Okay, now here I have done the error checking. Okay, although this is not needed. Okay, but let's say the cylinders or the count of the cylinders can be entered by user by mistake as negative also, or 0. So let's say the user says that my hard disk contains -2 cylinders. Okay, so -2 is not a valid input, right? Your cylinders can be like at least 1 or more than 1, right? So that will be a valid input. So if your total cylinders count is less than equal to 0, then you will say your total cylinder should be greater than 0, and you will simply say, okay, I'm exiting the program. Okay, so this part is actually not needed. Okay, you can just like delete this also. Okay, so after this input, the second input is count of total cylinders that you want to enter in the request queue. So I have put that in the n variable. So n will contain, let's say, 8. Okay, then I have created the request queue. Okay, the request queue that will contain my total n cylinders. Okay, so request queue will be of size n, right? Let's say n is 8, so I have taken the size of request queue as 8. Okay, so this is like we have created a variable size array. Okay, according to runtime value of the n, my this request queue will be created at the runtime. So this variable length array, okay, this variable length array is supported in C programming or the C language. This is not supported in your C++ language. Okay, so in that case, in C++ code, what you can do, you can take a static size array. Okay, or you can create a dynamic array, right? Okay, using the malloc function. Okay, so it depends on you. Okay, but this will not be supported by C++. Okay, so the G++ compiler can allow this variable length array, but in proper C++ language, this is as such not allowed. Okay, the same way, we have created a array which will contain my different cylinders order in which those cylinders were serviced. Okay, so that is seek sequence array. Again, the total cylinders in the seek sequence can be equal to n, right? So let's say 8 cylinders are there, so seek sequence will contain 8 cylinders. So again, I have created n size seek sequence array. Okay, now after creating these arrays, I have to take the another you can say input. So what are the actual cylinders that I am going to enter in request queue? So I have taken a for loop and I have inputted all the cylinders in my request queue. Okay, and after that, I have asked lastly the initial position of the read write head. Okay, I have stored that in the initial position, that where is my head currently pointing to. Okay, so this are the 4 inputs. Okay, so I am considering that all the inputs are valid. Okay, for example, here total number of cylinders that you want to request enter in the request queue cannot be negative. Okay, so if user enter n equal to like -1 or -2, that will be a invalid input, but I'm considering that user will always enter the valid input. Okay, so I'm not checking here error checking. Okay, I'm not saying if n is less than 0, then like exit the program. Okay, so I'm considering all the inputs are valid. Okay, now after this, this is the main program. Okay, so basically after input, from here we have applied our algorithm. Okay, so if you see from here, we have done something. Okay, and then I have done like some of the error checking, and here you can see we have applied the, you can say, our algorithm, apply SFTF algo. So I have created a function, right? So I have called a function. So basically this apply SFTF algorithm will return me the total number of head traversed. Okay, and I will print the seek sequence, the total number of head movements, and average number of head movements, okay, as the output. Okay, so seek sequence, okay, this will also be generated using this apply SFTF algo. Okay, so this is my layout of the main function: input, then this is the application of the algo, and this is the output. Okay, so now let's understand that how we are applying our SFTF algorithm, right? So this is the main thing that we have to understand. Okay, so now let's go upward. Okay, and here you can see we have actually 2 functions. One is the apply SFTF algorithm, and from apply SFTF algorithm, we have called a function find closest cylinder. So for that, I have created this another function find closest cylinder. Okay, so these are the 2 functions, okay, other than the main function that we have created, right? So basically, let's understand this apply SFTF algorithm. Okay, and then we'll see what is the working of the find closest cylinder. So this was the example that we have discussed. Okay, so in this example, our current position of the read write head was at the 53rd cylinder. Okay, this 53 was actually not present in the request queue, but this was the initial position of the read write head. Okay, so what basically we are doing, okay, here you can see I have taken a loop, okay, the while loop. and inside while loop I am doing all the processing. Okay, I am computing the total head movements, okay, again and again, and I am computing the seek sequence. Okay, after the completion of this while loop, I am returning the total number of head movements. Okay, this seek sequence is like a array. Okay, so basically I need not to return. Okay, so if you see in the apply SFTF algorithm, in the header of this function, the request queue has come as the input. This the initial position of the read write head, that is 53. This has come as the input. There is one another input, visited. This array is a boolean type. Okay, that means it will contain either true or false. Okay, so what is the need of this visited array? I will tell you later. Okay, and the another input is seek sequence array. Okay, so my main function has passed this seek sequence array so that my apply SFTF algorithm can fill this array. Okay, and the last is int n, that is the total number of cylinders, the count of the cylinder, that is 8. Okay, so inside this I am doing all the processing. Okay, and I have taken the help of find closest cylinder. So basically, if you see from the current position of the read write head, the current position, that is the initial position of the read write head, is 53, right? So what is the first task that you have to do in applying the SFTF algorithm? You have to find the nearest cylinder from this 53 position, right? Out of all this request in the request queue. Okay, so this is the first task that you have to do. Find the closest cylinder, right? So you are passing the initial position, okay, and the request queue, okay, and this n, okay, and this visited that we will see now. Okay, that why we will need visited. Okay, so this find closest cylinder will actually return me the index of the closest cylinder or the nearest cylinder to 53. Okay, so you can see that we have seen in our video also. Okay, and in this example also, if we find that from 53, if we find the difference from 53 to all these cylinders, then we can see these are the differences, that 98 minus 53. Okay, from 53 we subtracted 98. Okay, so and then from 53 we subtracted 183, right? Then we subtracted 37, then we subtracted 122, then we subtracted this 14 from 53, right? So these were the distances. So out of all these distances, which distance is the minimum? So you can say 12 is the minimum. That means from 53, 65 is at the minimum distance. Okay, so this 12 is the minimum distance. Okay, so this find closest cylinder will actually return me the index of this 65, not 12. Okay, so in this request queue, 65 is at which index? So this is at 0th index, right? So this 98 will be in the 0th index of the array. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So find closest cylinder will basically return me this 6. This is the minimum index. Okay, so it will say 65 is at the nearest position with respect to your 53. Okay, so I will actually use this position number 6, okay, in my rest of the program. Okay, so this is the working of the find closest cylinder. So if you see above, okay, here find closest cylinder is taking everything as the input that we have just sent to it. Okay, okay, so basically you are running this loop n times. Okay, and in every iteration what basically you are doing, you are finding the subtraction. Okay, so basically you have to find the subtraction and you have to find the minimum of all these differences. I think it is very easy to like apply this. Okay, this is a very easy problem of the data structure, that how to find the minimum, okay, of all these numbers. Okay, so I have applied this algorithm. You can apply any other algorithm, okay, or any other way. Okay, so let me enlarge this a little bit, okay, so that you can just see. Okay, so here you can see I am saying let's leave this visited one. Okay, I'm saying, okay, if the difference between the initial position and the request queue, okay, the ith position, that is 98, initial position is 53, so 53 minus 98, okay, there will be some difference. Okay, because I want to take the positive number only. Okay, 53 minus 98 or 98 minus 53, both are same. Okay, so I am saying absolute value. So the absolute value or the difference, you can say it is less than minimum, right? It is less than minimum. So initially my minimum will be like very low, sorry, it will be very high. Okay, so you can see I have taken a variable min. Okay, I have set it to int max. Okay, so 58 and the 98 difference, it will be like a positive value, right? Because absolute value will give me a positive value, and it is less than minimum. Minimum will be a very large value. Int max is like a very large value. So yes, my difference will be very less than minimum. So I will say, okay, minimum will be set to the difference of this. Okay, and the minimum index will be set to this 98th index, that is 0. Okay, the index of 98 is 0. So I will be set as the minimum index. Okay, so this minimum contains the subtraction or the difference. Minimum index contains the position of that cylinder. Okay, that cylinder to which I have found the difference, and the difference is minimum. Okay, so currently it is equal to 0. Next time again I will move and I will say I equal to 1, and then I will again find the subtraction, and I will say, okay, the subtraction between 53 and the 183, is it less than minimum? Okay, the last minimum was the difference between the, you can say, 53 and 98. Okay, so 53 minus 183, this difference is lesser than the previous difference. If yes, then I will set the minimum, otherwise I will just leave and I will go to the next iteration. Okay, so basically in each of the iteration I am having the minimum subtraction, okay, or the minimum distance in the minimum variable, and minimum index will contain the position of that cylinder which is actually at the nearest position. Okay, so basically if you see this, okay, so basically initially this min variable will be containing this 43. Okay, and you can say your min index, it will be containing the 0th position. After that, when we will come to 130, 130 is actually greater than 43. So this 43 will not be changed. Then I will come to 16. Okay, and I will say, okay, absolute value 16 is less than your last value, that is 43. So I will say minimum will be changed. I will come inside here, and min index will be set to the position of this 37. So this 98 was at the 0th position, this was at the 1st position, and this 37 was at the 2nd position. So I will say 2nd. Okay, so in this way I am initializing all these things. Okay, and in the next run what will happen, 69 is actually greater than 16. Okay, so from here I will find the subtraction, right? So subtraction will be 69 from 122, and this is less than minimum. Last minimum was 16, so it is wrong. 69 is not less than 16, so I will not come inside the loop. Okay, so in this way I hope you have understood that basically this way we are finding the nearest cylinder, okay, or the position of the nearest cylinder. So finally what we are returning, the position of the minimum index cylinder number. Okay, so from this we can see we will find or return the index of 65. So I will return 6. Okay, so 6 will be returned. Okay, so in min index what will be the output? So it will contain 60, sorry, it will contain 6. Okay, so basically min index, okay, min index will contain 6 here, right? Now what we have to do, basically to count the total number of head movements. Okay, now basically to find the total number of head movement, what basically we have to do, so initially total head movement is 0. Okay, and we will be adding again and again some values inside it, right? So we are saying, okay, minimum index is 6. Okay, this is the 6, and currently we are at 53. Okay, so from 53 we are moving to 65, right? So count how many cylinders you have traversed from 53 to 65. So we will subtract this initial position 53 minus this position, okay, or you can say 65. So 65 at the 6th cylinder number, or you can say 6th position. So I am subtracting initial position, that is 53, minus request queue of minimum index. So request queue and the 6, that is request queue 6, that is 65. So 53 minus 65, it will give me the desired value. Okay, so I will be adding this inside the total number of head movements. Basically 65 minus 53, it will be actually 12, and I'm taking the absolute value. So 0 plus 12, it will be 12. Okay, total head movements are 12. Now for the next time, okay, for the next while loop iteration, I have to change the initial position of my read write head. Okay, so from the FCFS algorithm implementation, you have understood, okay, that now 65 will my initial position. So this will be my initial position of my read write head. So initial position is request queue of this minimum index, that is 65, right? Okay. And what I have done is I have stored this 65 inside my seek sequence. Okay, so my seek sequence will contain 65. So basically I have created another array. Okay, another array. So it will contain 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and last will be 7. Okay, so basically my 65 will be stored here. Okay, and for tracing or for indexing this seek sequence, okay, I have taken a variable I, which is starting from this. Okay, so I is 0. So request queue of minimum index, that is request queue of 6, that is 65, is stored in sequence. Okay, okay, so this is my output that I am preparing. Now here you can see we have taken a visited array, okay, and I'm saying the sixth index of the visited array should be made true, right? Okay, so basically I have created an array of size, you can say total n size, okay, that is it will contain the index from 0 to 7, and I'm saying okay, this 65 is actually now been serviced. Okay, so in the next iteration, when I will come in the next iteration, I will not actually find the difference from 65 to this 65. Okay, because 65 has been like service, so it should be out of the consideration. Okay, so I should mark this as the visited cylinder number. Okay, so for this I am saying okay, the visited of this sixth index should be made true. Okay, so visited sixth index should be made true. Okay, or you can say I am setting this as 1. Okay, 1 means true. Okay, so initially everything will be inside this as true. Okay, and what you can do is actually here I have set the size as total cylinder, but you need not to do this thing. Okay, you can actually take the size as n also. Okay, or you can say okay, if you are indexing this visited array using these cylinder numbers, then you will be basically creating a visited array of 200 indexes, like 0 to 199. Okay, that way also you can like create this visited array. Okay, but we can just index is using the index. Okay, so that will be like a shorter array. Okay, so I have taken a array which is of n size. Okay, now in the next time I'm saying okay, my one process has been completed. Okay, so I'm saying completed variable will be 1. Okay, so basically this completed variable will be helping me to you can say complete or end this loop. Okay, so till the point completed variable will not be equal to n, I will be go on. Okay, so my completed variable will be like initially 0, now it will be 1. Okay, then second request will be completed, it will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and after all the 8 requests will be completed, I will come out of this while loop. Okay, so this completed is just helping me to end the loop. Okay, so yeah, so my completed is 1 now. Okay, now let's go again and say 1 is not equal to 8. Okay, so now let's find the closest cylinder from this initial position. So my initial position has now become this 65, right? So from 65 I have to find the, you can say, closest cylinder. So if you go here, okay, so now if you see initial position is 65, so I am again and again saying if my 65 and the difference between the request queue, okay, from 0 to n, I'm finding the difference between 65 to 98. If it is lesser than my minimum, if yes, then I'm setting the minimum variable, right? And I'm finding the minimum index, right? So in this way I will do the same thing, but here I have taken the visited array, right? So why I'm taking visited array? Because when I will come to the I equal to 6, okay, and then I need not to find the difference between the 65, that is initial position, and this request queue of the sixth index. Why? Because 65 has been serviced, right? So for protecting this subtraction, that is I need not to find this subtraction, right? So I have said okay, if my visited of this I, that is sixth position, that is 65, okay, this is equal false, then only I will find the subtraction. So basically currently visited of 6, that is this is actually true. That means this 65 has been serviced. So this will be, this visited I equal false will be condition will be false. Okay, this will not be true. So I will not actually find the subtraction. Okay, because this is AND operator. So basically I will say my if condition is false, okay, I will not proceed, and then I will go to the I equal to 7 position, right? Okay, if this condition is not present, then what I will do, I will actually find the subtraction between 65 and the request queue, you can say I, that is 65, and it will be 0, and 0 will be lesser than actually your minimum, you can say the previous minimum. Okay, the previous minimum will be 65 and 124 difference, and 65 minus 65 will be 0, and 0 will be lesser than your 124 minus 65 difference. So basically I will say my minimum will be 65 and minimum index will be 6, but this will be wrong because 65 has been serviced previously. So to keep track of this thing, I have created that visited array, and I am checking first that condition. Do not interchange the position. Okay, that visited of I equal false should be made here, and you are using OR operator. Okay, I think you can do this thing. Okay, first you have to check that if it is false, then only proceed further. Okay, so this way I will be saying okay, in the next time this 67 will be like closest position. Okay, so my 7 index will be returned with the help of this minimum index. So here I'm saying okay, now find the difference between 65 and 67. It will be 2. Okay, so from this 2 will be added with the total movement. Okay, so total head movement will be like, you can say 12 plus 2, 14, right? Okay, and after that what will be the next step? I will say initial position should be changed to this request queue of 7, that is here. The request queue of 7 is this. So this is my initial position. Okay, new position. After this, inside the seek sequence, okay, I am just taking the 67. Okay, now I is my, see, the I has been updated. Okay, I is 1. Okay, and next time I will be this one. Okay, then visited of min index, that is visited of 7, it will should be made true. Okay, and after that completed variable should be made 2. Okay, 2 request has been completed. Okay, so this way I will again go and I will say 2 is not equal to 8. So basically I again find the closest cylinder from this initial position. Initial position, that is 67. So from 67 I will find the difference between this, okay, all these things, but I will not find the subtraction between this. Okay, so here you can see, because visited of I, that is visited of 6 and 7, they will both be, you can say, true, they will not be false. Okay, so my this if condition will not run for this thing. Okay, I will find the subtraction for only these pending, you can say 98 to 124 only. Okay, and from this I will be finding the minimum index, and minimum index will be for the 37. Okay, you can see from the diagram, that is 2 will be returned, and from this 2 I will be saying okay, that is find the difference between 37. Okay, this 37, that is the you can say 67, and request queue, that is this 37. Okay, so from the initial position I'm subtracting this 37 so that I can count the total head movement. Okay, and those difference will be added with the previous total head movement, and so on, changing the initial position, that is 37 will be my new initial position. Seek sequence, it will store this 37 here, right? So 37 will be stored here. Okay, then visited will be changed. So my minimum index was carrying 2, so visited of 2, that is here, it should be 1, that is 37 has been serviced, and completed will now become 3. Okay, so this way this visited array will keep on filling by 1. My total movement will be added, keep on adding. Okay, it will be increasing. Okay, and my completed variable will go on to 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, after all the 8 request has been completed, I will come here and I will say 8 is not equal to 8. Then I will not proceed further and I will return the total head movement. So in this my example, total head movement will be like 236. Okay, as I have seen. So we will return 236. Okay, and finally we will come here. Okay, so total head movement will be 236. I will be printing the sequence array, this 65, 67, 36, okay, till this last index. Then total head movement will be printed. Okay, and finally average head movement will be 236, okay, divided by 8. Okay, and I have to print the float answer. Okay, 236 and 8 both are integer, so I have typecast it, okay, and I am printing till 2 decimal places, so I have printed percentile 0.2f, okay. So with this you can print the average head movement, okay. And basically here you can see uh, I have you can say checked one error condition. So I have assumed that initial position cannot be negative, right? See, the cylinders are ranging from 0 to 200. Let's say total cylinder contain 200. So your position can be like 0 to 199 for the initial position. Okay, initial position can be between that only. So if initial position is less than 0 or it is greater than 199, let's say. Okay, so that means wrong initial position entered, then I'm saying exit. Okay, so this I have just taken for the error checking. Okay, if we are assuming that my you can say input is always valid, then I need not to write this condition also. Okay, then I can assume that my input will always be correct. Now before going to the C++ program implementation, let's understand one of the case that here you can see that 53 was the initial position of the read write head, right? And this 53 was actually not present in this request queue. Okay, there can be another case, for example this one, the same request queue is there and the initial position of the read write head, let's say it is given as 14. Okay, we have to start with the 14 and 14 is also present in this request queue. Okay, so then this program should work. Okay, from 14 we will find the nearest cylinder, we will find that 37 will be the nearest cylinder, then 53 will be the nearest. Okay, so SSTF will service all the requests in this way till 183. So 183 minus 14, okay, this will be the, you can say, the total number of cylinders traversed, and this will come as like 169. Okay, so total head movement will be 169. So in this case, how this program will work? So if you go down here, okay, so your initial position will come at 14, right? So what will happen for the first iteration, when you will call the find closest cylinder function, the initial position is 14. Okay, and this request queue is passed. Okay, so when you will come here, what will happen, you will find the subtraction between the initial position 14 and the 0th position, or the you can say 0th request. So the 0th request is 98. Okay, so you can say 14 minus 98, 14 minus 98, some value will be coming. Okay, the absolute value will be coming and it is less than minimum. Okay, so you can say the subtraction of the 98 minus 14, whatever it will be going inside the minimum variable. Okay, now at one point it will happen that the initial position is 14, right? And the request queue I, okay, request queue I will come at this 14, this request queue position, right? So 14 minus 14, in that case it will be 0. Okay, so in that case 0 will be less than, we will be checking with this minimum. Okay, so previous minimum will of course be greater than 0. Okay, 183 minus 14, 37 minus 14, 122 minus 14, all will be, you can say, greater than 0. Okay, the distance between all these with 14 will be greater than 0. So 14 minus 14 is 0. So 0 will be actually updated, okay, in the minimum. Okay, so minimum will be 0 if you subtract 14 minus 14. Okay, so for the first time this will happen that the 14 minus 14 will be 0, index will be updated with the index of this 14. Okay, so you can say index will be like 0 1 2 3 4, index will be 4. Okay, and so on. So for the first time this minimum index, okay, will be written as 4. Okay, after you do all the differences with all the 5th, 6th and 7th position also. Okay, so 4th will be returned. Okay, so it means that this 14 request will be serviced first. Okay, and in the next iteration, when this while loop will again run, then we will come with the initial position as what. So here you can see, after servicing this 4th index, okay, we will come here and we will say, okay, request queue, and the index will be 4. Request queue 4 is again 14. Okay, this 14. Okay, so this will become the initial position, right? And then if we go further and we will come again to find the closest cylinder. Okay, so we will say with respect to 14, what is the closest cylinder again. Okay, so now this 14, okay, this 14 is your initial position of the read write head, right? and you have to find the closest cylinder. So with respect to 14, you will find the subtraction of 98, 183, 37, 122, but you will not find the subtraction of this 14, right? 14 minus 14 you will not do, because in the visited array, what will happen? For this position, you will have 1, right? And for all the other position, you will have false. Okay, so you can say when you will come to this find closest cylinder from here with initial position as 14, and you will go from I equal to 0 to n all the iteration, but you will not find the subtraction. Okay, this subtraction for visited of I equal to false, that means for visited of this position 4. Okay, we will have this true. Okay, so we will not go inside when we want to do subtraction of 14 and 14, because 14 is service. Okay, so in the next iteration, that is in this iteration, you will find the minimum between all these. Okay, 98, 183, 37, 122, you will find the subtraction of these with 14. Okay, and then you will find the minimum. So after that it will work as such. Okay, as normal. Okay, so this is one of the case. So here you can see this 14 was at the, you can say, one of the end of your, you can say, this you can say request. Okay, here we have taken the initial position in this example as 65. Okay, we are given the initial position as 65. Again, 65 was also present in this IO request queue. Okay, and if we start from 65, then we will move in this zigzag manner. Okay, so this can be one of the other case. Okay, so your initial position can be, so your initial position can be from this request queue. Okay, or it cannot be from this request queue. Okay, the main thing is it should be between 0 to 199, that is the maximum cylinder. Okay, the maximum cylinder number is 199. Okay, now if we talk about the time and space complexity of this SSTF program, then time complexity will be O of n square, space complexity will be of O of n. So how time complexity is O of n square? So here you can see when we are calling the apply SSTF algorithm, then inside this while loop, for each of the cylinder in the request queue, we are actually calling this find closest cylinder. We are actually calling this find closest cylinder. Okay, so find closest cylinder is working in such a way that it is taking one of the, you can say, the initial position of the read write head. Okay, and then we are finding the subtraction of this initial position with each of the, you can say, n cylinders. Okay, 65 minus 98, 65 minus 183, 65 minus 37, and so on. Okay, so n times I have found the subtraction. Okay, for this initial position of the read write head. That means for the first time we have called this find closest cylinder, and the complexity of this find closest cylinder will be of big O of n, right? And after that it again runs, okay, for the next initial position, that is 67. Then for 67 again we are finding the difference of 67 and 98, 67 and minus 183, and so on. So again n times we have to find the subtractions. Okay, so again the find closest cylinder will run for n times. Okay, so for each of the, you can say, these 65, 67, 37, 14, we will call this find closest cylinder, and the complexity of find closest cylinder is big O of n. Okay, so for the first request we called the find closest cylinder. Okay, and the complexity of find closest cylinder is big O of n. Then for the second time we again called, okay, the find closest cylinder of O(n) complexity. Okay, and for the nth request, okay, for the nth request again we called the find closest cylinder and its time complexity of big O of n. Okay, so for n times, you can say, for n times the total complexity will be n into this is big O of n. Okay, this is like O of n square. Okay, so this way my time complexity will be of big O of n square, and the space complexity is big O of n. How? Because we are taking this seek sequence array, okay, to store our output. Okay, so this seek sequence array is taking n size. Okay, so for this my space complexity is big O of n. Okay, now let's see the implementation of SSTF in C++ program. Okay, so here we have taken the various header files. Okay, now instead of these header files you can just take this header file. Okay, so if we start from the main function, okay, here, okay, we'll see that the whole program will actually be fine. Okay, logic wise the program is fine, just we have you can say changed the data structures. Okay, we have taken vectors in this program at some of the places. Okay, so here you can see we have taken the, so here we have used the set precision 2. That means we want to print the float answers till 2 decimal places. Okay, and here you can see the same input. Okay, we have taken here also. So total number of cylinders. Okay, then actual number of cylinders count. Okay, then actual cylinders we are entering inside the request queue. If you see here, the request queue and the seek sequence, they both are taken as vector. Okay, so request queue will contain all the integer cylinder numbers. Okay, so I have taken the int. Okay, the same way seek sequence will also contain the various cylinder numbers. Okay, so it is also of type int, and I know that seek sequence will be of how much length? Seek sequence will be of length n, right? So I have initialized the length of this seek sequence with the n. Okay, the same thing you can do for, like, you can say request queue also. Okay, request queue bracket n. Okay, but I have not taken the size n. Okay, I can like then also I can input the, you can say, cylinder number inside this request queue. Okay, so I hope you understand that how the vector is created and how the data is you can say inserted in the vector. Okay, so here you can see in the request queue we are pushing the data. Okay, so in, if we have taken this form of you can say creating a vector, then we have to use the pushback function. Okay, so we are taking the cylinder number from the user that we want to put inside the request queue, and we are pushing using the pushback function. Then again, next cylinder number we are pushing inside the request queue. Okay, and so on. After that, we have taken the initial position. Now for the visited array, I have created a vector. Okay, so all the element inside the visited will be true or false. So I have taken a bool data type, right? And here I have created the visited vector of size n, and all the entries initially will be false inside this visited array. Okay, or in visited vector. Okay, so here it is false. Okay, and then this is the usual, you can say, error checking that we have done. Now apply SSTF algo is same as we have seen in the C program. Okay, so if you go above, okay, so here this request queue will be a vector. Okay, initial position is normal, visited is a vector. Okay, seek sequence is a vector. Okay, now here you can see this is the same code that we have seen in the C program. Okay, so there is no change, right? Now here one thing that you have to note is we have passed this seek sequence using this reference. Okay, so actually what will happen if you do not use this ampersand, okay, and you are passing this seek sequence vector, okay, then what will happen? A local copy of the seek sequence will be created in this apply SSTF algo. That means vectors are actually passed using call by value method. Okay, if you do not use this ampersand. Now then what will happen? Seek sequence will be updated in this local copy which is created inside this apply SSTF algo. Okay, and after that what will happen? When you will go down, okay, when you will go down and in the output you want to print the seek sequence. Okay, so seek sequence, you can say it is present here also. So it is actually, you can say, it will not have any value. Okay, let's say it have all the values initialized as 0, okay, by default. Then what will happen? This copy will print and answer will become as, let's say, 000. So the above changes that are done in this copy, they will not be reflected. So I am passing using the call by address. Okay, so I am passing using call by reference. Okay, so what will happen? This changes in this seek sequence, they will be reflected in the main function. Okay, that's why I have used the ampersand. So it is like important thing to note. Okay, now after doing all the things that we have done in the C program, okay, it will update the total head movement and the seek sequence. The total head movements are, you can say, sent, okay, as the final output. Okay, and the, you can say, find closest cylinder, it is also same as we have seen in the C program. Okay, this only thing is we have to use the vectors, okay, wherever needed. So I hope you have understood that how this algorithm is implemented in C and C++ program. So if you have any question, comment, suggestion, please write down into the comment box and I'll answer them. And do let me know that are you able to find these videos useful? Okay, the various C and C++ program implementation of the various algorithm in the operating system. Okay, do let me know into the comment box, and please give a thumbs up to this video, and share this video among your friend also. Okay, so see you in the next video with the next implementation of the next disk scheduling algorithm, that is the scan algorithm. So stay tuned, see you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.